Hey guys, this is sort of a part 3 to nebulous pantheism, but I'm probably not going to call it nebulous pantheism. I don't know. Just additional thoughts, basically, on how to respond to something that is probably very common for anybody who's in a university or a professor or really anybody. If you're going to talk about uh, Eastern philosophy, I've heard two good extra points about this. One is Eastern philosophy is a very broad term, very general, because there are dozens upon maybe hundreds of different philosophies that have popped up in the East. I mean, there's so many different nations and so many different traditions. Eastern philosophy is a very broad term. So, I guess it's important to, narrow it down. Thou Art That was mentioning we're really talking about non-duality, and that's true, and that exists in the East and in the West. So we can sort of focus in on that, or we can focus in on specific traditions like Mahayana or Zen, or, Mahayana, Theravada, Vajrayana, all those. Or we can, I guess, try to emphasize what you're talking about specifically if you're going to talk about this stuff, which I need to do. Um, And secondly, I think we could address the issue like this. They're going to call this nebulous pantheism. But really, what the Buddhists and the non dualists are claiming when they say things like, we are one with reality and we can experience this directly, they're not trying to think up a argument for it. There's no thought as a byproduct. It's just a way to explain a direct experience. So even if you doubt it, which is what that was saying, like it seems reasonable for someone from the West. The West, that's even a broad term, but there are very strong traditions, of course, in both. If you're going to doubt it, if you're going to say, look, this is not, this doesn't make any sense. These are very, these are big claims. Fundamental unity with all things and experiencing that directly. Um, they want to see how it's backed up, so it's good to be skeptical about these sort of statements, but not to the degree where you don't look at what they're saying as objectively as possible, because then you're just being biased, and then you're being unscientific and unrational, illogical. The logical thing to do, it would seem, would be to say, all right, these people are making a claim about non-duality. They're saying we can experience a fundamental non-duality, where subject and object dissolve. Okay, that's based off an experience. It's not an argument. It's not a treatise. It's not a claim. It is a claim. It is a claim based off of an experience, but it is not a claim based off of a well thought out argument. Uh, it is a claim based off of an investigation into into human nature, and an investigation through meditation, and a direct experience, an experiential thing. It's a descriptive property. I think I mentioned this in the last video. Meditation and the philosophical claims of meditation, whether they are from Wei Wei or anybody really, are a description of an experience. And the experience is convincing enough to say, look, this is something that's true about reality, and here's how you can repeat this experience yourself. And then they teach it and they pass it on. Uh, because of that, we have to see it like that. We have to see it as a claim based off an experience. And instead of rejecting it on it not being a good argument, it's not an argument in the first place. Let's check it out as an experience. Does it work? And if you do it that way, there's less of an argument against it. Um, in fact, yes. Most people who criticize Eastern philosophy in general and generalize it as such don't usually understand that it's not a argument. It's just a claim based off of an experience about reality. And I think this goes into sort of a bias or an assumption in Western traditional scholars, I guess you could say, in philosophy and in other fields, and that being an assumption that we have no other way of knowing things except for thinking about them. In other words, knowledge is conceptual. The only way to understand the world out there is only through thought, only through concepts. In other words, the only way we can understand out there is through concepts in here. Indirectly, we need to internalize and break it down and transform it into something we can grasp. I think this is a incorrect assumption. I think that is one way that works, and it works very well for understanding the material world. But understanding the internal world, or even the external world, quote unquote, is not the only way necessarily. In fact, there are many different ways, and meditation and bare attention, observation, is even more objective than thought, because even your thoughts come into doubt. I mean, we can put it this way: even your very concepts are doubted, and not doubted to the point where you're not able to do anything. You're just gripping with doubt about everything, and sort of like in Descartes' meditations to some degree. It's more of a just bare attention. It's doubt in the sense that it is unattachment to even thoughts and biases. It is just letting all be, and from that bare awareness, that bare attention, zazen, that I think might have a lot to reveal to us about reality and about ourselves in particular. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much stronger of an argument you can make. It's not really an argument; it's just a description. It's a defense, but we don't necessarily need to argue about it, because after all, we have to return to our breath in the end. Okay, so thanks for listening.